Thanks for the feedback on the last video. There was one guy said I need to speak up a bit because my microphone is dog shit on my phone and you can't hear me. So I should try my best to speak up a bit. Not the best on camera, as you can tell. And also more footage of me actually cutting things up rather than just trying to explain how I did it. I thought that'd be quite boring if you sat there watching me using an angle grinder or anything like that. So I shall take that on board and try and include a bit more of the actual butchery as we go along. So today's job is going to be fitting the other rear 15-inch wheel tub, but I'll include, I know we did that in the last video, but I'll include a bit of footage of me cutting it up, and then we're going to move on to the 4-link boxes. So follow along and let's see if we can figure out how to get this done and looking anywhere half sensible by the end of the day. Cool, let's go. So I've already used the plasma cutter to cut round the outside of the wheel arch on this side, but what I'm going to do is also cut round the middle of the lip to get this section out of the way, and then cut back the inner tub so that then we can clamp the new tub to the outside of the car to mark it, to then cut out the actual shape we want and be able to get in further and hopefully make life a bit easier cutting the old piece of crap out. So what I'll be doing is using my Artec plasma cutter. I didn't get one of these until a few years ago, and it really makes life so much easier. Literally connect it to your compressor, to the airline, plug it in, and away you go. So use a torch, and you literally use your welding mask so you don't blind yourself and get covered up with gloves and everything so it sparks everywhere, but you literally hold it on the whatever you want to cut, pull the trigger and just move along. So for the guy who commented last time, I'll do a bit of filming of that for you. Cool, let's do it. Etc. Take that metal. Check out the quality repair in the boots that we saw in the first video. All of this sealant and shit. How lovely it is. Alright, so that's a big chunk of it cut out. What I was basically trying to do is get this arch off, so this is a bit flatter, to be able to clamp the tub against the car, mark it, cut it out, and get a bit more room to get in further to try and cut neatly that seam on the inside of the top of the inner arch this time. So let's see how that works out, shall we? So here we have the wheel tub, measured like before. Tape measure in line with this straight edge that we want inside the car, all the way across, like so, from one edge to the other. So on the actual lip there, we have got 720 millimeters 360 centre, set square, draw your line, and carry it on up to the top. Then we're gonna flip it round, face down on the ground, bring that mark just around the corner, flat floor, in line, and then mark up all the way like so. So when we put the arch in the car, this bit will be sticking out of the arch and we can line it up with our centre line here. So this being the second side, I've taken a measurement off the other tub that I fitted from in line with the shoddy sill repair, measured back and then marked it there, so I know that that will be the front of my arch and it'll be the same as the other side, hopefully. So I'm just going to try and clamp it up. I know I've got to be 22mm down as well, which I measured from the other side, so they'll be the same from this body line, and then double checked it up to the window, this straight edge, and that was correct too. So I'm confident that's in the right place. So once I clamp this tub to the car, as long as I line up that, and then the front of the arch ends up there, should be in the same place as the other side. So let's clamp it on, do loads of measuring and double check it, and then we can cut this bit out. So now the tub is clamped and held up with a jack to the rear quarter. This line in line at the right height, in line with my mark at the front. I've measured from here to the door shut and horizontal from the end of the tub to the bumper hole, and checked it on the other side and that's the same. So you should be able to now mark and cut this rear quarter. Wish me luck. After attacking it with the plasma cutter, we've now removed all of this bulk of the inner with the tub, keeping this lip on the inner rear quarter structure, which I can now go around and clean up with a grinder and keep that all nice and tidy. Then we can get rid of this bit. I'm going to try the trick that a guy suggested, using the die grinder bit to take the top of the spot welds off to keep the metal behind good. So let's give that a go and see how it works. So die grinder bit on the end of the drill. Drill out the spot welds with it. And then whack fuck out of it. Actually works. Look at that. Doesn't look like a piece of cheese. Just another 300 to go. So that's the other tub fitted. Looks awesome. Worked out exactly the same as the other side. And managed to get it a lot more spot on all the way around the inside as well. So you end up having to trim off a little bit off the end, and then from the centre round to about here. Wasn't a lot, but it's gone in mint. Tacked in, and now onto the next bit, which is going to be fitting those in there somewhere. Let's do it. Okay, so I got ahead of myself a little bit yesterday and ended up mocking up the 4-link boxes into position. They were a complete bastard to try and measure anything and get straight and square, but I think I've sussed it. So under the car, obviously the chassis rail runs through here and then comes out here. So we wanted to miss this, but then also leave enough room underneath to be able to get the bolt through and then a nut on the back, rather than being right up against anything up this end, the spring hangers and all that sort of stuff under there, which will eventually be going. But if it's any help to anyone, so where I've mounted my tubs, that edge is obviously where the old tub was to, so the inside of your original tub would still be in the same place. I've gone 100mm off the edge of the tub, and that's given us enough clearance. I don't know what setup you guys are using. I mean, even if you've still got the original rear seat cross member, which is shallower, I've butted it up right against the back of this, which is annoying because it's landed right where this hole is, but there's no way I could have gone any further that way, because then my bolts wouldn't have fitted underneath. So that's a bit annoying. Might end up blanking these off so it doesn't look so turd. Obviously eventually it'll get welded down the back to that and all the way around, and obviously all the way up the floor and all the way around. But I've come up to the underside of this fold here. It's a nice strong bit to weld to, and then you see on this axle, what do you call this? Some kind of, well, it's where the dampers bolt on, but it's where you come up. I originally cut underneath this lip, but the box was sitting downhill and at the front wasn't square against the seat, the cross member. So I've gone up to this fold, use that as my reference. So I'll just cut a slit, bent it up, and what I should do is tap that down, and then I can weld to this nice thick bit of steel around here as well, all the way around. And that's actually ended up pretty much where I want them, I think. And then obviously same the other side, and then I've just checked that everything's square. I've gone 100mm off each side there, and then it was a bit of a shit, a bit of a straight edge across here, and try and mark it. Find the, obviously we know where the centre of that is, so then measured between the two, split the difference, and obviously measured out, and that's where it's going to be, get them straight in the car. There's not really anything in here straight to measure off. You can't, even the side of the floor seems to curve in a little bit for some reason, and the only way I found of doing it was going off of the bit I know is correct to start with, and then working off of that. Anyway, they're in there and tacked in, so hopefully it won't be too long. We can get all this lot welded up and looking pretty cool. So if you want to follow us and to the next bits, which is probably going to be the large diff tunnel in the back, and that should sort of almost complete the back, and then we'll be moving on to turrets, basically get this back end buttoned up, and then it'll be on to replacing the front chassis rails, so then I can get the front floor pan in. I'm going to replace the whole bulkhead all the way around with the splash panels and everything. A lot of work, but it'll be worth it. So if you like what you see, give us a like and subscribe, follow us along, and I'll try and add some videos as regularly as possible. Thanks very much. See you later.